Hey everyone and welcome to Storytime. My name is Jake and today we are going to be looking at the subreddit r/maliciouscompliance, where people conform to the letter but not the spirit of a request. If you're new around here, please do hit subscribe down below so that you never miss out on another video. But for now, let's sit back, relax and enjoy some malicious compliance. Not letting me pick my own airline to fly? Enjoy paying for my business class seat on the contracted airline. So, as a federal employee, when we fly, we have to book our plane tickets with the locally contracted airline. However, our union agreement and other federal travel regulations/guidelines state an employee can fly any airline of their choice as long as the price is equal to or cheaper than the contracted airline. My first two training trips to the Midwest, I flew with Airline Z because I've been a frequent flyer with them for 15 plus years. They offer plenty of legroom, their planes are newer and bigger, and seats are wide enough to be comfortable. The first two trips, their price was cheaper than the contracted airline. I made my orders, booked my tickets with Airline Z, and everything was approved. Easy done. Then, it wasn't. July 2017. It was going to be my third trip to the Midwest. I did my orders, booked my flight with Airline Z. The price was slightly cheaper than the contracted airline price, so I figured, who doesn't want to save money? And sent everything for approval. Well, the new approving manager, AM, denied my orders. I called her and asked her why my orders were denied. She said, "You didn't book your ticket with the contracted airline." I explained that I've flown with two other times with Airline Z. The price had always been cheaper than the contracted airline, and per the union agreement, my orders shouldn't have been denied. She goes on to say, "Well, I wouldn't have approved them then, and I'm not approving them now. Redo your orders." Okay, so I redid my orders with the contracted airline. Again, the price was slightly higher than Airline Z, but I do what I am told. When I arrived at the gate, I noticed the plane that the contracted airline was using was smaller than Airline Z. I was hoping it was as cramped as it looked, but sure enough, when I got in, it immediately felt cramped. At 6'1", my head was a few inches from hitting the roof of the plane, and being slightly bulky, the seat I sat in was narrow and extremely uncomfortable. If I raised the armrests, my thighs spilled over to the other passengers' comfort zone. Thank God the seat beside me was empty for this trip. My knees were literally hitting the seat of the passenger in front of me. I somehow managed to grab my phone out of my pocket and take a picture of my legs and knees and showed how cramped and uncomfortable I was. It was the longest 3-hour flight ever. As for the return flight, it was the same circumstance as the departure flight, except I had someone next to me who was also slightly bulky. I pulled out my phone again and painfully took another picture. I discreetly added the passenger's size next to me to add to my discomfort flight. October 2017 comes around and I'm heading to training again. And once again, I had to book with the contracted airline. And the same thing happens. Cramped seats, hurting knees, bulky passenger next to me. And this time, the passenger in front of me leaned back on her seat mid-flight. With my phone at the ready, I took another picture of my horrible circumstance. My caption would have been, "This is how a sardine feels." On the return home, I paid for the emergency row, out of pocket. Booking the emergency exit row was an extra cost that wasn't allowed on the government credit cards. It's after Thanksgiving 2017, and I get advised I'm going back to the Midwest for more training. This time, I'm ready. I had done a little research on the federal travel regulations and saw that business class was an option for air travel if the reason to book business class was for the safety and health reasons. Bingo. I created my orders and this time I booked business class with the contracted airline and included my health as an exceptional reason. The total price was almost 3 times the normal expense for this type of trip. I submitted my orders for approval and not even a minute passes when AM calls me. I answered the phone, I didn't even get a chance to say hello. "Why in the hell are you booking business class?" "Because on the contracted airline, I don't fit in the normal seats." "That's not a good enough reason. You need to change the class now or I am not approving these at all." "No, it's a health issue. I need business class to sit comfortable. My legs and thighs cramp up and my knees hurt from banging the seat in front of me." "I'm not approving that. I'm coming over there and we're going to meet with your manager right now. Click. I was ready for this. I got my phone and walked to my manager's office. He's on the phone, so I quietly sit down and did not say anything at all. He gets off the phone and then looks up and asks, "What's up?" I smile and shake my head when in comes AM. "Glad you're here. He wants to book business class for his training trip." "You know you can't do that. Why did you?" Me, pulling out my phone. "Remember my trip in July? Well, here's my first experience with the contracted airline heading to training." I give my manager my phone and he raises his eyebrows in disbelief. AM didn't look at the photo. "That is not the government's problem." "Okay." Manager hands me back my phone. "Well, here's a picture from the return trip, and it was a bit more uncomfortable than the outbound trip. I couldn't get settled the entire trip, my thighs and legs cramped a bit. I showed my manager my phone again, and he cringes. The approving manager is still unfazed. "Your comfort is not our concern. We just need to get you there, and that's it." And finally, I got my phone back and showed them the October trip. This happened on my last trip, which left my right thigh in pain for a few days. My lower back ached while sitting in training, which made it uncomfortable to learn or study the material. Not to mention the sore knees I had from bumping into the seat in front of me. Again. I showed my manager the sardine picture, and he made the face like he just swallowed a lemon. I really do cramp up in those seats. I can't sit or stand up comfortably. I'm in the next passenger's personal space, and I cannot really adjust my knees or legs at all during the flight. If I get hurt really bad where I can barely walk, I might have to miss a day or two in training class. Therefore, for health reasons, I need business class on the contracted airline. Well, that ain't gonna happen because I am not approving them. You need to change it back to coach. You've done coach before with the contracted airlines, you can do it again. My manager just looks at her for a minute. For him being a big guy himself, he knew my pain. "Well, I think you should approve his orders, but I understand if you don't want to. He's provided me with enough info here to get a health exception. I can't have him miss training due to an injury because of cramped seats. If I have to, I'll have him send his orders to your manager for approval. Of course, I'm also going to send him a quick email with those pictures to back up the health exception. Do you mind sending me those pictures to my email?" "Sure." And sent. "Thank you." He's quiet for a minute until he turns back to the approving manager. "What would have been the alternative to flying the contracted airline?" "There is none. We have to fly the contracted airline." I'm staying quiet because it's no longer my flight. "Are you positive on that?" "Yeah, 100%. "Then I guess we have to book in business class." And he turns to his computer and starts typing something. Approving manager, though, doesn't want to admit defeat, especially to her own boss. "Wait," she says with one arm stretched out trying to get my manager to stop typing, which he does. "You know, he could fly coach with Airline Z. That's an alternative." The approving manager is now trying to save face now, but my manager isn't buying it. "Are the tickets the same price as the contracted airline?" I did a quick internet search on my phone, which by the way is not the way you research official travel prices. You must use the government's search engine, and AM should have caught this. She does not. "No sir, all prices are up really high now." Approving manager is angry, knowing that she has lost completely. "So, before I finish my email and send it off to your manager, will you approve his orders?" Approving manager nods like a spoiled child, and she walks out of the office. I thank my manager and left to resend my orders to approving manager with business class for my November training. By the way, it wasn't much difference except for wider seats, more legroom, my knees didn't touch the seat in front of me, and free drinks. January 2018 comes around and I get another training class, except this time I got approved to fly with Airline Z from approving manager. I know right at the end he says that he gets to fly with Airline Z, but surely after the first time he flew with the really bad seats, he should have just emailed the approving manager with pictures of the union agreement, the price of the contract, and the price of the Z flights. Because from there she'd hopefully just understand, but I'm not sure, she might be an entitled person. And then everything would have been solved much easier. Hey everyone, I hope you're all having a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you want to check out some other stories, then click on screen right now or check out the playlist down below. If you liked that video, then please do leave a like on it and subscribe if you aren't already. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon.